Okay, so I'm gonna give you, let me give Kenny, where are you now? Ah, found you. No, I lost you. Let me give Kenny host back so he can let everybody in and change host. Let's get started. Okay, so that is done. Oh, now I lost my screen. This is great. There we are. We're back on progress. Okay, so thank you everyone so much from the bottom of my heart for joining me today. You have absolutely no idea how much this means to me. There's almost 50 of you in here so far. We've had over 100 people sign up for this. That is mind-blowing. I have spoken in large ballrooms, standing room only conferences. So to see this amount of love and support and just eagerness to build your own brand virtually is everything. I promise you, you're going to walk away with a ton of value today. Your head might hurt a little after this class, but don't worry. I constructed a really, really beautiful and just go at your own pace learning module to go along with this. Well, not learning module. It's a guide. It's a digital download guide. And yeah, we also have a free Facebook group. So if you have questions while you're building out all of this, you can join Your Creative Hustle on Facebook. It's the colorful one. Um, I would love to have you part of there. I'm kind of, only hearing myself talk in there, so I'd love to hear other people. So let's dive in and create an authentic brand I can't talk. Blueprint. If my computer is going to work. There we go. Okay, so this is what we're going to learn today. You're going to step out of this class with a clarity around what goes into a memorable brand. You're also going to learn the difference between marketing and branding, as well as leave with a strategy and a game plan for both, because they are both different. So, with that in mind, what is branding? Branding is a process of creating a unique identity because the goal is to set your business apart and you want to build recognition. You want to foster your relationships, AKA, you want to have some relationships that lean more into lead generation, all with an emotional connection. How you do that is you curate what your brand is going to look like. It has to be authentic, it has to be who you are. And you just have to allow yourself to have a little bit vulnerability and a little outside of your comfort zone. If you go way over here outside of your comfort zone, you're going to repel back and you're not going to want to create a brand. But if you allow it to evolve and you allow it to turn into something over time, it's going to be something that is completely authentic to you, not only professionally, but personally as well. Okay, so personal branding. Well, what is personal branding? Isn't it like the same thing as branding? Absolutely not. I mean, yeah, absolutely not. So, your personal branding is the practice of defining and promoting your unique qualities, your unique expertise, the values of who you are, all to build something that is recognizable and, like I said, authentic to you as the professional as well as the person. What are some things in the chat that you think that you can do that would blend your personal side with your business side? Some of you know me so well, you can even tell me what I blend in my personal brand as well as my professional brand. So here's how we're going to connect both of those together. I want you to understand branding shapes how your business is seen. Okay? How do you want your business to be seen to the masses? What is the message you're trying to convey? Your personal branding is about showing the world who you are, what your skills are, what your value is, and your complete and utter vibe. Each and every one of us has a vibe. How do you want to highlight and showcase your vibe to the world that will bring business back to you? So when you get both of those aligned, you create a very powerful and authentic connection with your audience. And then that was going to set you apart from a crowded market. Because as we all know, the noise that is out there right now is extremely, extremely loud. Extremely loud. So, how do you cut through that noise when you have like 20 personal injury attorneys just within a 5 mile radius, or you have 50 real estate agents within your metropolitan area? You know, how do you cut through to be authentically you? Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go over how to bring branding and marketing together that over time will allow you to create a personal brand as well as a unified brand for your business. And the way to do that is to dissect and take apart what is branding and what is marketing. Because for a lot of us, we get confused because we're told we have to do lead generation. We're told we have to do mailers. We have to do this. We have to do that, all of the things, right? And we think that those things are a part of our brand. But the reality is, it's not. It is a part of our marketing strategy. So, the next few slides, we're going to go through, we're going to say what branding is, and we're going to say what marketing is, and how they're different, but yet how they work together. So, the first one is branding is your why. Branding is branding is what defines you and it puts a purpose behind why your brand exists, right? You want to have what's called a UPS, unique or USP, sorry, unique selling proposition. Your brand should have a USP, your unique selling proposition. What is the problem that you solve with your brand? Okay. Your marketing is the how. The marketing focuses on your strategies that you take, the actions you use to get your brand in communication efforts to achieve its mission, right? So your why is your mission, your purpose, your unique selling proposition. It is your identity. Your marketing is the steps and the tools and the paths you take to get your brand out there to lead gen and get business. Branding is also long term, marketing is short term. So, with branding, the long term foundation of your business is everything. It's about building a strong identity. When you look at me and my personal brand, you know I like plants, you know I like dogs, you know I like doing silly things with my husband, and you know that I love just sharing parts of my life, the vulnerable parts of my life. Not everybody wants to do that. Some people want to get very specific and they want to niche down, and you don't know a lot about their personal life, and that's okay. Why? Their brand works for them. So it's about building that strong identity, figuring out how to build that trust, and most importantly, pulling them in with an emotional connection. When you build that emotional connection with your customers over time, it's going to shape how people feel towards your business. Remember this saying, people won't remember what you say to them, they'll remember how you make them feel. That's your brand. Your brand is how you make people feel. Marketing, on the other hand, is your short term. This will change. It could change yearly, it can change seasonally, it can change quarterly. It's about specific campaigns, it's about the tactics you're taking to promote the products or services that you're doing right now. Okay? So marketing is right now, short term. Branding is an evolution long term. While marketing can attract attention quickly, branding is what keeps people loyal to you in the long run. Okay? So marketing's quick hit, branding long term, and it's more even keel. Branding is macro, so big picture. Marketing is micro, small picture. With that being said, branding is a way to focus in on your business's overall identity, creating that identity. What's your values? What's your vision? What kind of reputation do you want to hold? It's how you want your customers, again, to feel about you and your business. And I want to emphasize something really quickly here. I've talked to a lot of small business owners in South Florida and quite frankly, across the country and even in Canada that say, well, I want to have a marketing person that just does all this for me. That's great. Have a marketing person do things for you, but you can't be as successful as you could be if you hire a marketing person to do all of these things and you haven't created the brand identity for yourself yet. And what I mean by that is you have to get invested into your brand. You have to buy into your brand because if you don't establish your culture, your mission, your vision, your values, and your identity long term, how do you expect someone that you're going to outsource your marketing to be able to capture that if you haven't identified it yet yourself? So when you're creating your brand, think about I have to make it look, feel, and act and be the way I want it to be. Then I can outsource. Marketing, again, is micro, right? So it's very specific. It's very drawn to the day-to-day actions of what you're doing. Are you running Facebook ads? What strategies are you using to reach your customers? Are you doing ads? Are you doing promotions? What social media post are you doing? Organic or paid? Are you boosting or not? You know, while your branding shapes your long-term vision, remember your marketing helps you make an impact right now. Okay. So if you want to do something right now, you run an ad, you run an organic post. If you want to do something long-term, you build a brand. Branding is your trajectory for the future. Marketing is its tactics. Okay. And I'm going to emphasize this again. Gary Vee has even said that if you are not creating a personal brand right now, today, as we speak, you are putting your business at the most vulnerable state it could ever be in the next 10 years. Every single thing we do right now is about adding value and creating a brand. Social media has done that for us. Now we'll see where everything's going to evolve and change with AI and all of the technology in the next 10 years, but for right now, you have to have a personal brand to stay in business. So, branding is your business trajectory. In 10 years, I don't want you to be out of business because you didn't do a personal brand now, right? So think of the long-term path you want to follow. Create a goal. I'm sure a lot of you create business goals. You create vision boards or just a short-term goal for the year, right? Create a goal for where you want your brand to be in the next 12, 18 months, maybe even 10 years, 5 years. Work towards that goal, right? Shaping your vision, your mission, and how you want your customers to see you. And then marketing is going to be all of the tactics that you take to get there, all right? Specific actions. Maybe you realize, well, when I post this style of post, it reaches far more people than when I post a video, or vice versa. That means you have to tune into your analytics. You have to start paying attention to what outperforms other posts and what your audience wants to lean into. I highly, highly recommend to make a little note of this, that at some point you also create your audience avatar. And this is not anything I'm diving into really today, but I want to do a brief mention of it because it's so vitally important. If you create an audience avatar, that is going to tell you who your target audience is, and then every single thing that you do on your social media campaigns, your posts, even your branding is geared towards that audience avatar. I have one, you'll laugh. Her name is Tiana, like Princess Tiana from Disney. And Tiana is a hardworking woman. She's feisty, she's tenacious. She loves her family, she loves her business, and there's a bunch of other things that she likes. And I created an audience avatar for my business. And so every time I create something now on a marketing scale or a branding scale, it's to talk to Tiana. It's to get Tiana to buy in. So make a note of that. Okay. Branding is also building loyalty. A brand will always win you long term if they've created loyalty. I tell everyone, for me, my goal is to make walking, talking billboards for myself and my business, which means that I've given enough value, I've made a lasting impression, and they know, like, and trust me. Marketing is what generates the response. Marketing is what gets you the calls. So you build the brand, right? A good example of this is today. It's kind of crazy how it happens sometimes, right? Today I got a call an hour before this session started. And the call was, hey, I got your number from so and so. They say you do marketing and coaching. I said, okay, yeah, I do. How can I help? And we're talking for a brief moment and we're going over everything. And it clicks in my head. And I'm like, this is branding. The fact that someone took the information that I put on social media, they know me casually, personally, they then gave it to another individual to pick up the phone to then call me. And this person said they've had my number for a while, but today was the day they decided to call. Great. It generated a response. The point of that is when you put things out there, you may think that you're putting it out there and you're not seeing attraction. You're not seeing the phone ring. You're not seeing things happen. But that's what branding is. It's long, it's slow, and it's a grind. But you know what? That consistency is what will get the response. So because I've been consistent with my brand, I generated a response today. So I created the loyalty because I do strong emotional connections with humans, with my customers, and I make them want to stay with me for a long term. The marketing is the tactics I use. Again, the ads, the promotions, and how you get people to take action in the short term. Branding creates value, marketing extracts your value. So with that, creating value, it's by building a strong, lasting identity. It's defining your core values, like we said, your mission, your vision, your values, and a story. Create a story. If you can't do anything else, create a story. People will buy into a story before they buy into a product or a service. I'm going to say that again. People will buy into a story before they buy into a product or a service. Tell a story, make it relatable, make that emotional connection. That emotional connection is what builds the commonality between us. It creates the loyalty. It turns your brand into a symbol of quality, reliability over time. And again, remember, customers will always buy into what a brand stands for first. Think about some of your favorite brands. Why do you like those brands? Nike is simple. Just do it. Just do it. It's huge. Mel Robbins, she sells services, right? More coaching and more things that we need to fill our soul and our mind. She's always talking about let them. Just let them. Let them do this. Or 5 seconds or this, quick hit, easy things that are memorable, that impact you, that create an emotional connection within yourself. Marketing is going to extract that value. So when you create the value, you've created an emotional brand. Now, how are you going to extract it to get people to buy into you, to want to use your services, to want to use your products? So by using a brand foundation, you're going to drive your short-term action through targeted campaigns. It's your tangible business outcomes, right? So when you extract them, create the brand, create the emotion, create the identity, and then you want to extract how you're going to have those business outcomes. And what I mean by extracting, because you're probably like, what is this girl talking about? You're going to want to test A and B, right? When I do a post, sometimes I have two different Facebook groups, and some of you or a lot of you are in those groups. I will run an A and B test. I will see how one post performs just on a little tweak in the post in one group versus another group. I'll do it on my Facebook as well. I'll do a story on Facebook one way and I'll do the story slightly different on Instagram and I'll see how it works. Which one works, right? Which one doesn't? Maybe they both work, but maybe one just got a little bit more traction than the other. I'm going to extract, see what I said there? Extract that information and I'm going to keep a log. And I'm going to pay attention to, okay, well, when I post this style with this verbiage structure, with a link in the comments, don't put your link in the post. You will thank me later. Always put it in the comments. With the link in the comments, how does this style perform? Is it the photo that pulled them in? I'll even leave little messages to see who's read my verbiage at the very bottom. And it's really interesting to see who's like, oh, I like how you snuck that in there at the bottom, huh? It's all good information. Why? Because not only do we have to be content creators as a small business, but we also have to be copywriters, right? And I'm not saying being the world's best copywriter, but what I'm saying is be aware, create a system, create trackability, and figure out how certain posts perform versus others. If you're just posting this and this and this, and you have no idea how it's performing, how do you expect someone to pick up the phone and call? Branding is your being. It's the essence of who you are. And again, like I've said over and over again, marketing is the doing, right? So branding, it defines who your business is. Again, your missions, visions, your personality. Personality is huge. Why? That emotional connection. You have to tell a story. If you're telling a story, they're going to buy in. Why do we continuously go to the movies over and over and over again? Because we buy into the story, right? Remember, a strong brand will foster your loyalty and your advocacy over time. Branding are again are your actions that you take. Bring the brand's message to life with the doing. How are you making your brand the best it can be? How are you telling that story by bringing it to life? And you want to generate those immediate results. When I first started doing social media, all I wanted was someone to send me a message. My entire goal was small hits, small wins, right? Because then it takes the pressure away. It takes the vulnerability of putting yourself out there away. So my first goal was, let's see how long it will take for someone to send me a Facebook message on real estate. That was it. That's all I wanted. And for me, this was about 8 years ago. It took about 6 months. Yep. Social media was not what social media is today. And it took 6 months. So then once I got the first message from someone I had absolutely no idea they were paying attention to my social media, I was like, wow, this is really cool. Okay. I then said, let's turn it into a call. I want my next goal to be, how long will it take someone to call me? And then the snowball effect kicked in. And it was really insightful to see that when I post certain messages that are perfectly curated for my brand's message on social media, how it can live with someone and stay with someone longer and longer and longer. And when I say that, I wholeheartedly mean it because my social media, some posts will write out for 14 days. And what I mean by write out is people are still gaining traction to the posts that I do 14 days later after posting. I've even had some reach 20 days and 25 days. My Facebook today, in the past 28 days where my stats are today on Facebook, I've reached over 70,000 accounts on my personal page today within 28 days. So it fluctuates day to day within your 28-day window, right? But it's not by much. My average is anywhere between 60,000 and 70,000 accounts that I'm reaching every 28 days. And I want that to be you too. So I hope this first section makes a little sense for you. I just wanted to create a little bit of clarity, and it's a lot. I understand it's a lot, but the whole point is to begin with building an awareness of what is a brand and what is marketing, and how am I going to clearly define both of them. So, your branding style, I want to go over this a little bit. There's certain things that I pulled out of what I call an element style checklist, which is everything that goes into making your brand, right? Because we could sit here and we could talk about marketing, but it's a disservice if I don't thoroughly go over certain aspects that every single brand has. So the very first thing of this element style checklist is who we are. Who are you? Who are you as a person? What are your passions? What are your hobbies when you're not working? Who are you professionally? Those are two really good questions to ask yourself. So you want to clearly define your business identity, the values, and what sets you apart, and pull that personality into the mix. And the reason why you pull your personality into the mix is to create authenticity. And for those of you who are more introverted and you don't want to feel like you're sharing a lot of your personal life, find those accounts on social media where it feels like you know them and you're their friend, but you really don't know anything about them. You don't know if they have kids, you don't really know where they live, you don't know really what they do, but you like their content and you consume it and you like the value or the entertaining aspect of it. They've still found a way to pull their personality in, but also keep it hidden the things that they want. Like people, for me, they're like, oh, but you share your whole life on social media. I really don't. I share what I choose to share. And for me, I choose my family life because that works. It's relatable, right? So don't be afraid to curate stuff that fits what you're comfortable with, but also brings business back to you. So the next thing you want to do, and take a picture of this if you want, because this is not going to be in your guide, your brand statement. Your brand statement is a concise, clear, and compelling description of your brand identity, the values, and unique offerings. Again, unique offerings. The only aspect of this will be the checklist in the guide of all of the different things in your element. So for this section moving forward, I'll let you know there are a couple slides that you may want to take a picture of because I don't go into grave detail into it in your guide. So again, remember what I said, unique selling proposition. What is your unique offering? Who are you? What do you offer? AKA the problem you solve. Who are you serving? And what I mean by who are you serving, I mean an audience avatar. You need a Tiana in your life. And what is your brand's mission or purpose? What is your mission? My mission is to sell 12 homes. That's great, but that's not really your mission. So when you're going to the mission, I want you to ask yourself why 5 times. See if you can get to the root of going deeper and deeper with each why. If you only get to like why number 3 and you're like, all right, there's nothing else after that. There's nothing deeper to my mission and my purpose. Great, you found it. But just saying you want to sell 12 homes or you want to do, I don't know, service 15 clients as an attorney this year. Well, that's great, but that's not your mission and that's not your purpose. That's just a goal. Okay, this is also another page you may want to take a picture of. Your tagline. So a tagline is something short, it's a catchy phrase. I'm in a mastermind group and there is this lender in there that has an incredible tagline and everybody says it every time I'm there. And it's like great rates in 3 states. I think I said that right. So great rates in 3 states is his tagline. And I'm just like, that is brilliant. It's quick, it's easy, it's memorable, and it lets me know that you service other areas outside of the state that's your home state, right? So characteristics of a good tagline. It's memorable, it's clear, it's brief, and it's emotional. I think emotional and memorable to me are probably the top-notch ones because if you can create clarity, let me rephrase that. If you can create memorability and you can create emotion, and even if it's a little bit longer, with time, you can evolve it to being clear and brief, if that makes sense. So for me in my real estate business, what I did was Breeze to Keys. I'm going to be honest, I tell this to everyone. It is the cheesiest name I've ever come up with. My name is Breeze to Keys. It's easy to get your keys. My tagline is, we make houses homes. It's clear, it's simple, there's emotion into it. You're turning a building into a loving, warming space. We make houses homes. Your creative hustle. We create clarity around your marketing and branding. Short and simple. That one I'm still working on though. Okay, your logo. As you saw, for my real estate business, I still have a personal logo. My personal logo happens to be a hashtag. That is on purpose, and that was intentional. It helps with my SEO rankings. Every time I get to do something on social media that's real estate related, I do hashtag breeze to keys. Guess what? If you pick up your phone or on your computer right now and you Google hashtag breeze to keys, it's all me. It was brilliant on my part. Um, I didn't really know it was going to have the impact it has now, but I'm really excited that it does. So, long game, right? Long game. So, you want to create a logo. It could be a hashtag, it could be a symbol, it can be your name, whatever makes sense to you. You also then want to create a reverse logo. What a reverse logo is, it's something that will work on background colors that are contrasting, right? So dark and light. You want a logo that works on light backgrounds, and you want a contrasting logo to work on dark backgrounds. And then an avatar, which is any type of visual representation or character that symbolizes a brand. So you don't have to have an avatar if you don't want to, or maybe you would prefer to have more of an avatar versus a logo, whatever works for you. But these are the things that you need to do to build brand consistency and brand identity long term. All right, brand strategy is also your color palette. Anyone who personally knows me knows I am a self-proclaimed color snob. And what I mean by that is I take color combinations very, very seriously. Hospitals drive me insane, guys. I go into hospitals and they're tan and they're brown and they're ugly. And then you go into a children's hospital and it's fun and it's happy and it's lively. Every color has a purpose. There is a scientific process to creativity as well as a scientific science behind colors and color schemes and the emotion that colors bring. So, when you're creating your color palette, you want to carefully select colors that represent your brand identity. Some of you work with franchises, right? Or big name companies, and they have their set brand colors. That's wonderful. Use them to an extent alongside your personal brand. And this is why I say this. In the real estate industry, things are evolving. People move, people change companies, right? When you change your company, it's like having to do a rebrand all over again. But if you have a personal brand that coexists with whatever that big name brand is, then the rebrand, when you change brokerages or you change office locations, it cuts down the pressure in half, right? Because quickly you're thinking, well, I have a black logo and I have a white logo that is part of my personal brand. I can just mix that in with whatever the new brand is for the big company as a franchise and make it work that way. So, again, emotions are in colors. Pay attention to how they make you feel, what they do, how you react to them, how other people react to them. Write this down. This is not in the guide as well. Canva has a really, really powerful tool called Canva Color Wheel. You can just Google it, Canva's Color Wheel, and you can put in a color, like even a paint swab color code, like the numbers, and it will generate different options of color combinations that coincide and work with that color. So that way you're not having really harsh colors competing for attention. Like some of these NFL football teams, I don't know who picked their colors, but they don't really work very well together. That's a whole other topic. And then another thing is typography. And what I mean by typography is font. What you may not have noticed is throughout this entire presentation, I have my main font and then I have my secondary font throughout every single slide. So without you consciously being aware of it, my branding's worked into the slide. So typography is the style of your font, it's the arrangement, and it's the appearance of your text. So you want to have some type of consistency when you're creating your font. And another really cool feature for those of you who do use Canva is if you have the pro version and up, it's not eligible for the free version, but pro version and up, you can create what's called a brand kit. And within that brand kit, I have all of my colors, I have my primary logos, I have my secondary logos, I have graphics that I use, I have anything that could be pertinent to my brand for easy, quick access. Uh, so it's just life-saving and time-saving. And then this is another thing that we don't have time to go over, but I at least wanted to share it with you all. It is in the guide as well. And these are additional things that go into creating a brand. From the tone of voice. If you're creating tonality, you can use ChatGPT. If you look at yourcreativehustle.com, which is my website, there is a consistent tone throughout the entire thing. Consistent tone. It's uplifting, it's fun, it's trendy, it's kind of like, hey, what's up? How you doing? We got you. It's conversational. That's by design. That was on purpose. And just think of all of these things. Use of space is another big one. If you're Facebook friends with me or follow me, excuse me, on Facebook, you will see I do use of space a lot in my verbiage. So when I am creating a post, how many times have you looked at one? And I'm going to use this as an example to explain this. You look at a post, it looks like it could be something really compelling, but it's like a giant paragraph. I mean, like a massive block paragraph, and you're like, oh, do I want to read it? Do I not want to read it? It looks like a lot to digest right now, and I just don't know if I can make it to the bottom of it. Use of space comes in handy. So if that poster had use of space of like, okay, let me do a really good hook for those who are like too long didn't read, so TLDR, or I just don't want to read the whole thing, you pull them in, they can like run through the verbiage really quick and then they're out. They can like, they can this, whatever. Use of space is big, and I use that a lot every time I am creating something on social media. Okay, and to bring all of this home, because I know it's a lot of information and I don't anticipate it to all stick with you, but what I do expect is for you to have more of an awareness, and you're going to leave this class and in the next couple days to weeks, you're going to start saying, huh, I kind of learned about that in that class, or huh, I never thought of that. That's my entire point of this, is to start an awareness for you. And over time, you'll get a little closer to building your brand. So a brand is more than a logo and a name. It's the essence of who you are. It's the essence of how you want to get dressed and leave your front door and show the world what you have to offer personally and professionally. It's the strategy you take to creating a brand that can make or break you. Marketing is not the same as branding at all. And most importantly, you evolve as a human, you evolve as a person, so your brand is going to evolve over time. The more information you take in, the more information you gather, the more evolution you'll have with your brand. So, thank you all so much for this. We'll do some Q&As, but I also wanted you to have my QR code for the website if you need it. If not, it's yourcreativehustle.com. And I'm just here to help create clarity around your marketing and branding. So I will stop screen share and let's see if we have any questions. You can unmute yourself too if you need to. And Kenny, I'm going to reclaim host. So thank you so much for everything. And here we go. Who wants to unmute and say, hi, I have a question, or I just want to say something?
Hi, Bree. Thank you so much for this information. It's nice the way you blocked it into little segments. I really appreciate that.
Oh,
Um,
thanks, girl.
I would love to hear where you start when you're understanding that deep dive into self. That
Ooh.
seems to be difficult for a lot of us to really get an idea of who we are before we get into the branding. Do you have a starting tool?
Yes. So I have a couple of things I like to do. One is really vulnerable, and some people either cringe when I say this, and some people lean into it and love it. So when I created Breeze to Keys, I went to the Peanut Gallery, aka Facebook, And I asked Facebook 3 words that describe me. And I was kind of nervous, really scared. Actually, I was really terrified. And I just let people say what they wanted to say. And then I took it a step further to get different perspectives, right? Because the way we view ourselves is different than the way other people view us. So I asked my family members, like my mom at the time, my dad, some cousins, and then I asked my really close friends 3 words. I said, "This is just a silly thing I'm doing for myself for personal growth. Give me 3 things." And I had a list. And what I did is I went through and I assessed those words and I took some time to see how can I curate and cultivate that to me personally and how can I curate that in a business. And then that led to the next thing, which was what do I like? Yeah, a really good experiment to for you as well is when you're on social media, what do you stop at to pay attention to, right? Like what are you stopping to look at? What are you stopping on a video that you'll watch to the very end? Because sometimes we'll be like, all right, I watched 10 seconds and I'm done. What do you comment on? What do you like on? What do you repel from? What post are you snoozing that you don't want to see those people for 30 days? Things like that. And that will help build an awareness of what you like and what you repel from. And then once you have more clarity on what you gravitate towards and what you don't gravitate towards, you can get a little bit more awareness. So I hope that helps.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I like the video idea. Like, what are you scrolling past? What are you not scrolling past?
Yeah, yeah, because it's again, it's just building those pathways in your brain to be aware. It's kind of like the red car syndrome. Um, who else has a question? We've got like 10 minutes, so use this time now. Any question? I know y'all got questions. I know some of your brains hurt too. It's totally fine.
Someone in the chat, Nadine, seems to be worrying about the conflict between her major brand versus
Mm.
her personal brand with brand colors, specifically Remax. Um,
Okay.
Worried about breaking rules.
No, don't worry about it. Remix has a black and white logo. Done. They have a black and white logo. You don't have to use the red, white, and blue. Who says you have to use red, white, and blue? If you love pink, love pink. I'm gonna be honest. My real estate business is with Remax as well. I have shifted from red, white, and blue to using black and white in the logos because what I did is it took me 8 years. I'm going to be honest. It took 8 years for Breeze to Keys to have brand colors. I mean, I had a hashtag, I had a font, I had all this other stuff, but I couldn't figure out brand colors. And so what I finally decided to do was take 3 of the colors of your creative hustle so that way they can coexist together, both brands and both entities. And I use the teal, I use the black, and I use the white, which works with Remax, which also black and white, when you're looking at, you write this down for some of you who want to know this. You can Google uh, color emotion and get an idea of what colors and evoke what emotions. Black and white, black is always luxury. So it gives more of this like, luxurious feel to it. She's like, "Yay." What other questions? Any thoughts, any insights, any ahas? Not even questions. Did you have an aha during this at all? Come on, I know some of you. Ramsey, I know you had an aha. He's like, don't call on me. Rhonda, how about you? You're such a good girl with marketing.
Uh, I enjoyed it. I really did. But yeah, taglines to me are sort of hard because you have a tagline and next thing you know, someone's using your tagline and you're like, what the hell? Why you got to be a copycat? And then you're just like, okay, do I change mine? Do I stand strong? So yeah,
I
because
mean, there's two.
I've used let me move you since 26 years ago. And then now I see it like a lot have just picked it up and decided to do it, but I don't know.
I mean, there's a couple ways you can do this. So Ramsey taught me the art of trolling. Thank you, Ramsey. And there's a good way and a not so healthy way to do it. And you could go one of two routes, right? If someone started using my tagline, I could be like, the original. you know, the OG of let me move you. Or you can also take a more expensive route and you can get it registered and trademarked. And then that way you can just send them a pretty little letter from some fabulous attorneys that are on here that say, no. Or you can just change it, you know, if it's easier for you, you can evolve the tagline and maybe make it more robust, right? Isn't Gary Vee always saying, you know, the greatest compliment is copycatting, number one. And number two, once you get here and people start using it, then it's time to level up your game and go here. So you're always constantly growing with it. So it just depends on which route works best for your personality.
Seems to be a standard now. So it's just like,
It
Um,
is.
I see it a lot now, you know, and I've seen people, you know, move with me, like move with Mallory and stuff like that. So I'm seeing, you know,
You
it's,
were ahead of the curve. Now everybody's caught on. So now it's time
I
to
know,
do.
but now it tells you how old I am. I was one of the first. So it's just crazy, but I'll figure out something. But
You'll
I
figure
tell
out.
people all the time, I brand for myself, but I also have a referral brand. So I don't know if anybody else is really into referral business, but I have a referral brand that I use a lot too, just so they know that I'm Rhonda in Houston, and that's pretty much how I get most of my referral business. Just because they see it so much, they know when they looking for a Houston agent that I'm in Houston. They don't have to look. So
So I'm going to be honest, guys. If anyone wants to find Rhonda on Facebook and add her, she is a wealth of information. I'm putting you out there so you can collect new friends. Sorry, Rhonda.
I would love
Um,
to be friends, especially on my Instagram because it keeps on going. Did anybody else get a message from Instagram that said some of your followers are not legit? We will remove them. And you click OK, and then you go, oh shoot! Now I'm down to 930. I'm like, oh God, you know, I lost like 60 people. I'm like, this is sucks. I wish I wouldn't have
yeah.
clicked remove, you know, but they're not doing anything for me, you know.
No, it's about quality over quantity nowadays. I tell everyone that you can niche down. And remember back in the day, it used to be like, oh, I have to have like 10,000 followers so I can have links or I have to have this. It's not about that anymore. There are so many people out there making really good money with high quality contacts. They may look like they're only getting 50 likes or this or 20 likes, but when you have a conversation with them, they're having conversion rates that are higher because they have high quality and people are lurking. You'd be surprised who signs up for my classes and who does things that never like anything on my page, never comment. They're just, they're just not comfortable doing that, and that's okay. So don't discount the lurkers, is what I have to say.
I mean, and that just really hurts my heart because there's plenty of business for everybody. And I feel like people snooze other realtors because they don't want to their sellers or their buyers to see that other content. But for me, it's like I know everybody. I know people all over the world. You know, I don't feel I don't know. I guess I'm different by that. I just feel
No,
like the more people I
you
know, the
are
better here. And I mean, I
you're
have
ahead of the
somebody call me
curve.
from Kansas on my listing in Galveston, says, "Hey, I got somebody that's looking in that area. I had no idea you went that far." I'm like, what if I would have just muted him or not added him as a friend? I mean, he's a long way away from home, but yet he's got somebody. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, you have to. So here's the thing too, right? We're all conditioned in this scarcity mindset of like, if someone takes my brand or if I share information or if I share something, then it's going to be harmful for my business. And that used to be the case, right? Look at how we used to market back in the 90s and the early 2000s, things like that. It was a high competition where you had to compete against whoever the individual was, and you can't share your secret sauce because if you share your secret sauce, then like game over, right? But now we're in this era of authenticity. And if you are authentically you, you're going to repel the people you don't want to work with, and you're going to pull in the people that you do want to work with. And if someone tries to replicate you, it's going to come across as inauthentic to them. So be true to who you are and always lead with your value first because it's no longer about asking for the sale because it's real. Don't we all think it's a little cringe when someone's like, they go right in and they try and ask for the sale? You're like, oh, you want to lead with value. So lead with value. Jennifer, yes, Jennifer, unmute. I got you, girl. Lead with the value and the rest will follow. So it's like value, 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 and then you ask for a sale, then value, 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 then ask for a sale. So Jennifer, yes.
So I have heard about making an avatar a few times, but I'm just curious. Do you use your avatar? Like, do other people, does the public know you have an avatar, or is the avatar for you only to help you make sure you're talking to the right person or people?
So it depends on you. Like, let's think of who has a quote unquote avatar, right? Who's the gecko is the one I was trying to think of the duck. Affleck.
Oh,
Affleck has an avatar, right? Disney has an avatar. So there's avatars in the sense of they use characters to promote the brand, but your avatar could be something else. You know, you can get creative with it. So if you start leaning into the awareness of what brands and what's most importantly small businesses are using avatars versus, you know, their logo all the time, or maybe they use both together, that gives you the ability of the awareness. And then the audience avatar is different in the sense that it's who are you specifically talking to, like your target audience. So, target audience, when we're neurally trying to create an awareness around who we are leaning in and talking to, when we say target audience, that seems so broad. It seems so intimidating. And when we then take away and we're like, okay, let's just make it one singular person, it makes it a little bit more digestible for us to process with a conversation to one person versus an entire group of people.
true. So
Yeah.
then, do you physically put that out there or have it drawn up, or is that just you on paper so you
It's just for
know?
you. Yeah. So
Okay.
my audience avatar, Hmm. I have a worksheet on it and stuff, and I do it a lot with my coaching clients. And so now you have my wheels turning of like maybe we should do like a class on it. Some of the people that were on here that are in my office, like Carol Sershin, we did an audience avatar together for all of our social media. And it's just for you to get clarity instead of throwing things against the wall, quote unquote, you know, on social media of this is who I want to talk to. And in the beginning, I'm going to be honest, guys, when you create an audience avatar, you're going to lose followers. You're going to lose people who were following the vanilla of you. And that's okay. It's part of the process because what you're then going to see is you're going to start gaining traction to the people who you didn't know would actually want to do business with you. So it's building a stronger bond,
So
if
are
that makes
you doing this also on your personal page because that's where you
sense.
or do you do your business as well?
Yeah. So 90% of my real estate business comes from my personal page as
Mhm.
well as the bulk of my business for my marketing. Because it's me. I am the person. I'm the face of the company, right? When you're an attorney or you're an investment banker or a real estate agent, you are the face, right? You might work for a big company or you might work for a big firm, but at the end of the day, you're the face. And I know that there's some compliance things with certain industries that you have to work through, but that's where your personal brand comes in. And your personal brand is what can set you apart from the big brand.
Mhm.
Because in all transparency, I had an aha moment for me where I was so Remax 4 years ago that I realized that if I try and leave Remax, I'm going to lose so much business because I never created a personal brand. And I don't know about you, but I just don't want to feel like stuck because life changes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I'm also Remax. But I created my personal logo and my personal everything and my personal email and all of that is what I push everything towards. And Remax just happens to be a little balloon in the corner of whatever. But I still have to have it
100%.
because to be compliant. But and it's not to take away from
Correct.
Remax, but I don't want to be known just for Remax. However, when I'm out and about, I will only wear the little balloon, and that gets people because they know the balloon. I don't have to have my name tag.
Right. I tell everyone if you're in a franchise situation where there's a big brand, but you're trying to build a personal brand underneath that big umbrella, use the big brand to leverage you because there is already an established brand awareness around it and then slowly evolve and build your personal brand. Natalia, you have your hand up. What's your question, girl?
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so with mine and my husband's company, he has a personal Facebook and he has the company Facebook or company social media and private social media. So how would you, when you're branding yourself and you're marketing yourself, is that something that you would do just on the company brand, or should they mirror each other and you're posting the same thing on
That's
both
a
pages?
really, really good question. I'm sure a lot of you are probably thinking this as well. So this question, the answer for this is going to be different for everyone. And the only way for you to have an awareness around this is to run experiments. So run A and B testing. You guys can even Google A and B testing if you want. A and B testing is like I talked about earlier. It's just about having an awareness of if I tweak a little thing here, if I tweak a little thing here. So here's what's really interesting, what I noticed. Some of my friends who are really creative on social media, they will be able to take post from their business page and then share it to their personal page and add just a little bit of verbiage. You always have to add verbiage because that's the original content aspect of your page. So when they share their business page post over to their personal page post, it will perform really well. When I try and do it, Facebook says, absolutely not. This is spam. We're not having it, and it doesn't work for me. So what I end up having to do is if I want to organically post something, I have to post it in both. And then it goes out organically to the separate audiences. So run some tests, see what works better for you. Facebook loves original content, and that includes Instagram. If it thinks you're sharing something, even from TikTok, if you download a TikTok video and it has the watermark in it, and you're on the monetization side of Facebook, they'll be like, we're so sorry, but you can't make money off of this because it's a TikTok logo, which is why there's apps now to remove TikTok logos on videos. So.
And also, I feel like I can share something, I can make a post on my personal page and it might not go over very well. And I can shift it, share that content and I save all my content because I'm going to recycle. I'm telling you, I'm going to have to,
100%.
I don't have time like that. And I could shift it over to my business account and it could have lots of looks. And it's just weird. And I've changed music on videos and stuff and gotten more hits because of more looks because of the music. It's just,
It's
sometimes
simple tweaks like that, even changing the hook. Like think about the influencers that some of you follow, right? They sometimes sporadically they will repurpose and reshare content. So thank you for sharing that. I have in my phone, I have an album of things that's called like post later. And all it is videos and photos that I have taken that I just don't need to post it right now because I have enough content lined up, but they're so good that I should put them out there at some point. So I do. People will think sometimes I'm doing things in the moment and I'm not, and it's not being, mean or crude or whatever. Everybody does it now. Look at these reality TV shows, right? Their lives from the point of where recording stops and recording begins, they can't share certain things on social media. So then you'll see posts and pictures and things that pop up there. You're like, I know that happened because like maybe they're pregnant now, or maybe they changed their hair color or whatever it is. You can repurpose and repost stuff that you necessarily aren't going to use in that particular moment. So be resourceful, recycle, reuse, repurpose. All right. So we've gone over time. Is there any last question, thought, aha, before we end? And I thank you guys so much for this. Yes, no, we're good. Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you all so much for coming to this. And I can't thank you enough. Again, we have a free Facebook group on Facebook. It's called Your Creative Hustle. It's the very colorful one. You can't miss it. And feel free to join. Just answer the questions. I will get your guide out to you by the next hour. It is my first time sending an email like this to everyone. So thank you for your patience and thank you for joining us. We'll do this class soon on a different topic. And I cannot wait to hear what you guys are working on and how you've grown your brand. So Have a good week, everyone. Bye.